explaining my vote tonight on behalf of the citizens of the 5th District. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Here.
Verhaelen.
Here.
Tillman.
Here.
Gale.
Here.
Guzekowski.
Here.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. Wow. Good, Mark?
We're officially off. I didn't want to throw you off your game, Ken.
There you go. I know I got a little problems up here. Item number 3 is approval of minutes of the meeting of March 21st, 2017.
Kirkowski, make a motion to approve the minutes of March 21st, 2017.
Second.
Great, roll call.
Alderman Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Great, under recognition, we have item number 4, proclamation to consider proclamation to Robert J. Anderson, Senior, for dedicated service to the City of Oak Creek as a member of the Police and Fire Commission. City Clerk will read that proclamation into the record.
Council Proclamation Number 17-05 to Robert J. Anderson Sr. for dedicated service to the City of Oak Creek as a member of the Police and Fire Commission. Whereas Robert J. Anderson Sr. was appointed to the Police and Fire Commission on May 19, 1992, and has dutifully served the city in a thorough, conscientious, and professional manner for 25 years. And whereas throughout his tenure as a member of the Police and Fire Commission, Robert J. Anderson Sr. has been instrumental in the appointment of 3 police chiefs, 3 fire chiefs, and countless police officers, firefighters, detectives, lieutenants, sergeants, battalion chiefs, captains, and assistant chiefs. And whereas Robert J. Anderson Sr. served as a liaison between the citizens of Oak Creek and the police and fire departments, ensuring that these departments run smoothly, effectively, and with the utmost integrity. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and common council of the city of Oak Creek do hereby show their appreciation and gratitude to Robert J. Anderson Sr. for his dedicated service to the city of Oak Creek as a member of the Police and Fire Commission. Be it further resolved that this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of this meeting, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby directed to transmit a suitable copy thereof to Robert J. Anderson Sr., introduced and adopted this 3rd day of April 2017.
Great, thank you. Any comments? Just want to thank Bob for his service. Obviously, the Police and Fire Commission does important work for the city. These committees and commissions are obviously where the nitty-gritty business side of the city government gets done, and we appreciate everyone who volunteers their time to serve on these committees. So with that said, need a motion on item number 4.
Kirkowski, make a motion to approve proclamation number 17-05 to Robert J. Anderson Sr. for dedicated service to the City of Oak Creek as a member of the Police and Fire Commission.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Great, under public hearings, we have item number 5, to consider request to amend section 17.0330 sub C, section 17.0331 sub C, section 17.0332 sub C, and section 17.0333 sub C, allowing religious institutions as conditional uses in the RRO Regional Retail Overlay District, the UVO Mixed Use Office Urban Village Overlay District, the NO Mixed Use Neighborhood Overlay District, and the OO Mixed Use Office Overlay District. So, yeah. So Catherine, you have to read that in?
Now I have to read.
There you go.
Public hearing number 1 is to consider proposed amendments to section 17.0330 sub C, section 17.0331 sub C, section 17.00332 sub C, and section 17.0333 sub C to allow religious institutions as conditional uses in the RRO Regional Retail Overlay District, the UVO Mixed Use Office Urban Village Overlay District, the NO Mixed Use Neighborhood Overlay District, and the OO Mixed Use Office Overlay District, 27th Street Overlay Districts. Date of the notice is March 2nd, 2017.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Doug Seymour, Director of Community Development, and this is a public hearing and request to amend the municipal code to allow religious institutions in all of those districts that were just mentioned. I won't go over them again. first of 3 public hearings this evening having to do with proposed amendments to the municipal code. As proposed, this text amendment would amend the municipal code to, again, include religious institutions as conditional uses in each of the 27th Street overlay zoning districts that were mentioned earlier. Right now, there are a number of different base zoning districts in there, which are all affected by this overlay. And this overlay district has heightened standards, if you will, or that would really restrict and further regulate how development takes place along 27th Street. And 27th Street is broken into a series of those districts, whether it's the regional retail area north of Rawson Avenue or the office district, which is further south. So in order for a religious institution, and just to preface this by saying, I mean, this really came to light as a result of a religious institution that was proposing to acquire a property within the district. And really, there was no real avenue for them to do that, given the regulations that the city had with respect to these overlay districts. So this, again, if this were to be approved by the Common Council, this would be approving religious institutions as a conditional use. It would still need to come back before this council and the Plan Commission to receive a conditional use permit. And really, as staff researched this topic, religious institutions and religious land uses really are afforded, don't want to say special, but significant protection under the U.S. Constitution. And essentially, if you're looking, you have to look at the use and the impact more so than just as the religious nature of it. So, for instance, in many of our districts, and certainly in our B4 districts, we allow places of assembly, theaters, what have you. Some of the literature that we've reviewed with respect to religious land uses notes that you should treat the use especially in the sense that it's really a place of assembly, and it's not to be treated any differently than other places of assembly, such as theaters. And certainly these types of land uses are permitted in some of our zoning districts, and therefore staff is comfortable giving the Plan Commission and Common Council the flexibility to allow religious institutions within the overlay districts on 27th Street. Plan Commission has in fact reviewed the proposed amendments to the zoning code that would allow this, and they have recommended their approval to the Common Council. With that in mind, this is a public hearing. I'd ask if anyone has any questions or comments regarding the proposal to allow religious institutions as conditional uses within the 27th Street overlay districts to fill out an appearance form. And if once your name is called, proceed to the microphone to address the council with your questions and or comments. This public hearing now is open.
Thank you, Doug. We're going to make 3 calls for public commentary or questions. First call. Second call. Third call. Seeing none, we'll open it up then to questions, comments from the council on the item in concern. Chris, any feel out of the planning commission
No,
on this particular item?
not for the most part. We looked at 27th as a whole because there's other discussions going on, and we felt that this is really a good area to be able to utilize this change and be able to resurrect this property.
Sorry, Steve,
Oh, I was just going to, just before Easter, too. Resurrection.
He's quick.
where did you get sun today?
Miller Park, where were you?
Wasn't it raining all
It was
day?
windy and cold and rainy, and the Brewers lost.
You're all red though.
Yeah.
Doug, I did have a question. Where is is there potential downside to doing this that you guys have looked at?
Oh, certainly from the perspective, anytime that you introduce non-taxable uses into a significant commercial corridor, it will have an impact on the tax base of the community. So from that standpoint, I mean, and I really don't want to overplay that because it shouldn't be the primary consideration because again, you have to look at the use and the impacts of the use rather than necessarily the taxability of it.
Is this site in TIF 7? I don't remember.
It is not.
So this is non-TIF property, right?
It's a not TIF property.
Mark?
Not a question, but more of a clarification thing. Because years ago when I was on the Common Council the last time, and I think Mike was the only here out of all of us besides myself, but I seem to remember something that if any religious entity, church or whatever, requests use of a property for a church, we can't really keep them from opening their doors, I guess, because of the discrimination part of the religious nature of whatever it is they're proposing. But I seem to remember something to that effect with our discussions years ago, and I was just wondering if that is the case, if we shouldn't make this code amendment more broad where it allows, churches to be in just about any of our zoning districts if they conform to the setbacks and, parking area and stormwater and everything else. Because I don't know that the city can keep a religious entity, whether it's a church or whatever, from coming into the city if they choose. I seem to remember that conversation, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I guess I would say that this case is unique in the sense that we've already got a base zoning district that allows for churches, an I-1 zoning district. And any religious institution could avail themselves of the opportunity to request a rezoning to that district. That differs in this case because even if they were to request a rezoning to I-1 institutional, you would still have to deal with that overlay district. So the fact that they needed a path forward, I think it would have been difficult had we not provided them a path forward to at least get a fair hearing on the request to change the land use. That probably would have raised a greater concern on my mind. I don't know that we need to adjust the other sections of our zoning code because we do have the opportunities under the I-1 zoning district to for a person to request a rezoning. But the fact is that in this case, even had they done that, they still couldn't have had the church there given those overlay standards. So I think we're in good shape with respect to the remainder of the zoning code. This proposed text amendment would also, again, afford the Plan Commission and Council the ability to review and approve conditional use permits for religious institutions within those overlay districts.
Any other questions, comments? Mike, good? Nope, I'm good. Need a motion. Sorry. Excuse me. We're going to consider item number 6 then, the ordinance, to consider ordinance number 2847, amending sections 17.033 sub C, section 17.0331 sub C, 17.0332 sub C, 17.00333 C, creating sections 17.0330 sub C sub 10, 17.0331 sub C sub 9, 17.0332 sub C sub 10, and 17.0333 sub C sub 7 to allow religious institutions as conditional uses in the 27th Street overlay districts. Motion.
Guzekowski will second.
I didn't make a motion.
That wasn't your motion?
No, it was not.
It could be.
No.
Okay.
You can simply say it's,
Kirkowski will make a motion to adopt, that the council adopt ordinance number 2847, amending sections 17.0330 sub C, 17.0331 sub C, 17.0332 sub C, and 17.0333 sub C, and creating sections 17.0330 sub C 10, 17.0331 sub C 9, 17.0332 sub C 10, and 17.0333 sub C 7 to allow religious institutions as conditional uses in the 27th Street overlay districts.
Guzekowski will second.
roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tolman.
Aye.
Yeah. Second public hearing is item number 7 for code amendment. Consider request to amend section 17.0329 sub C, sub 2, sub C, sub 1, and section 17.0329 sub C, sub 2, sub C, sub 2, allowing the Plan Commission to grant modifications of standards for buildings in the 27th Street overlay districts. Catherine will read the formal notice.
Public hearing number 2 is to consider proposed amendments to section 17.0329 sub C sub 2 sub C sub 1
Wow.
and section 17.0329 sub C sub 2 sub C sub 2, allowing the Plan Commission to grant a modification of standards for buildings in the 27th Street Overlay District. Date of notice is March 2nd, 2017.
Doug?
Thank you. The second of our public hearings this evening also deals with the 27th Street overlay districts. And this really would allow the Plan Commission the same or very similar discretion that it has under the Section 17 of the zoning code in other districts to vary the requirements of our site building and landscaping standards under the site plan review process, provided that there was a 3/4 majority vote of the Plan Commission, and only if supplemental design elements are incorporated into the plans, which are over and above the required minimum requirements. Again, nuance as part of the overlay zoning districts that were developed in conjunction with the city of Franklin did not have that language originally. So developments within the 27th Street overlay districts, I mean, even if the Plan Commission were in unanimous support of modifying some of those standards, they could not have done that under the current zoning code and the current zoning code language. So this proposed text amendment gives the Plan Commission the same flexibility that it has in other zoning districts throughout the city to modify standards, again, with a 3/4 majority, provided that additional design elements are incorporated into the site plan that are over and above the code requirements. Again, public hearing. Anyone with any questions or comments, please fill out an appearance form. Proceed to address those to the city clerk, and once your name is called, proceed to the podium and address the common council with your questions or comments. This public hearing is now open.
Great, thank you, Doug. As before, we'll make 3 calls for commentary. First call, second call, and third call. With that said, we'll close the public hearing, open it up to council for questions, comments. Anybody? No? Good, great. All right, then, we'll move on to item number 7. Consider an ordinance, or excuse me, item number 8. Consider ordinance number 2846, amending sections 17.0329 sub C sub 2 sub C sub 1 and ordinance 17.0329 sub C sub 2 C sub C sub 2 and creating sections 17.0329 sub C sub 2 sub C sub 1 sub F and 17.0329 sub C sub 2 sub C sub 2 sub E to allow the Plan Commission to grant a modification of standards for buildings in the 27th Street overlay districts. Great.
Got a question
Mike?
for our city attorney. Can we just, instead of going through this nonsense, can we just say as listed below, or do we have to read it through? Well, it's not, I can read it, but I'm just asking if we can say as listed below, because, I mean, we've done that with other.
Not to have
Okay,
ended the challenge. Last one, but certainly deferring to the chair.
okay, all right. Tolman's going to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2846 as listed below.
Guzekowski will second.
Thank you.
Great. Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tolman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Yes, I was obligated at that
It was
point.
tempting.
All right, our third and final public hearing, then, item number 9, is to consider a request to amend Chapter 17, Section 17.03170 of the municipal code, creating the LM-1 light manufacturing zoning district. The change would result in the renumbering of the existing Section 17.0317 to be renumbered to Section 17.03171. Catherine, please.
Public hearing number 3 is to consider a proposed amendment to Chapter 17, Section 17.03170 of the municipal code, which would create the LM-1 light manufacturing zoning district. Please note that the existing Section 17.03117 will be renumbered to Section 17.03171. No other changes. Date of notice is March 2nd, 2017.
Thank you. Good evening. Not related to 27th Street. In November of last year, there was a request to amend the B4 Highway Business Zoning District to allow self-storage facilities as a conditional use. In the process of the review, the Plan Commission looked at and had staff look at several alternative mechanisms for accomplishing that. And rather than changing the B4 zoning district to allow, again, the self-storage facilities as a conditional use, the commission felt strongly with respect to not opening up that type of use for that district, and directed staff to take a look at alternative mechanisms that would not only allow for self-storage facilities, but also other kind of hybrid manufacturing commercial uses within a new zoning district. So based on that, staff is presenting a new LM1 light manufacturing district, it also draws upon the recommendations of the comprehensive plan that says that the city should consider create a separate business park zoning to accommodate a controlled range of uses compatible with recommendations of this report, essentially kind of bridging the gap between the commercial, which are the B1 through B4, and manufacturing zoning districts. So it was really kind of the LM1 districts, and you have a copy of that in your report. I won't go over that unless you have any questions about that, but it was really meant to allow for those kind of limited manufacturing districts that are more service-oriented, where necessarily you don't have the heavy manufacturing component to that. For example, a distribution center would not be considered an appropriate candidate for LM1 zoning. It's something more, it's more like the research parks, business parks. For instance, probably a good candidate for that might have been the kind of the R&D flex space that was just approved along Rawson Avenue. So it, just to summarize, it kind of bridges the gap between our commercial and manufacturing zoning districts. Plan Commission has reviewed the proposed changes and has recommended to the Common Council that the new LM1 district be approved. Again, this being a public hearing, I would ask anyone who has any questions or comments regarding the proposed LM1 light manufacturing zoning district to please, again, fill out an appearance form. When your name is called, please proceed to the podium to address your questions and or comments to the Common Council. This public hearing is now open.
We'll make 3 calls again for public comment on item number 9. First call. Arden, you're either early or you're speaking on something you didn't plan to.
I'm here for both. Arden Degner, 8540 South Pennsylvania Avenue. What areas of the city does this pertain to?
It doesn't pertain to any areas right now. It only inserts the language in the zoning code that would allow someone to petition the Common Council to rezone certain specific properties to that district. This is not changing any specific property to this zoning district. It's creating the zoning district.
Thank you, Doug. Second call. Third call. Great. With that, we'll close the public hearing, open it up to comments, questions from the Common Council. Doug, I did have a follow-up on that thought. Yep. Do we intend to, maybe with our comprehensive plan update, is there thoughts of going through our sort of overlay and finding spots where this is suitable, unsuitable, or adjusting our thought process on?
I'm not sure that we go into that level of detail as part of the comprehensive plan amendment. Certainly, it's our goal to have a more thorough review of our zoning code in the coming year, and we can certainly take a look at changes at that point in time. But as far as the comprehensive plan is concerned, I think it's more taking a look at generalized uses rather than specific zoning categories to fit those uses.
This just gives the user the opportunity to use this.
Correct. Petition for it.
Clark?
Another thing just for clarification, I guess, on my part is there any chance, Doug, for a certain business to come in the city where they could qualify for either the M1 or the LM1 or our new LM zoning?
Yep.
And then how do we go about determining, where that would go? And it's hypothetical, but would that be more of a plan commission as it comes forward, or how would that work? We're going to work it on square footage of buildings or actual use, because we only have suggested uses on our list here, but I mean, if it's something that kind of falls through cracks.
If it was a use that was permitted in both the LM1 and the M1 zoning district, I think that there would be some discretion in the sense that the applicant, if they were to request that change, would have to look at how that how their use would best interact with the uses around them. For instance, if someone came in the middle of a residential district or commercial district and proposed M1, certainly there's some compatibility issues there. And perhaps this is where that LM1 district would be more appropriate and, again, bridges that gap. So, I mean, in essence, say you have research and R&D, and those are certainly would be appropriate and permitted in both the LM1 and the M1 zoning district. I thought theoretically you would have your choice as to what you would petition for, but I think a more thorough review of the application and the surrounding land uses would have a pretty clear indication of which one would be appropriate.
So that's, like I said, it's more of a plan commission question, if it's something would get to that point.
And ultimately the council, yes.
All right.
Anybody else? Great. We'll move on to item number 10, then to consider the ordinance 2848, creating section 17.03170 of the municipal code to create a new LM-1 light manufacturing zoning district. The current section 17.0317 will be renumbered to section 17.03171.
Kirkowski make a motion, the council approve ordinance number 2848, creating section 17.03170 of the municipal code to create a new LM1 light manufacturing zoning district. The current section 17.0317 will be renumbered to section 17.03171.
Verhaelen seconds.
Great. Roll call?
Alderman Verhaelen.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Under new business, we have item number 11, informational. Barb is not here tonight, although she did indicate she would not be at tonight's meeting. She did indicate or did insert into our council packet an informational on this month's treasurer's report for the financial position of the city. Andrew, I'm not sure if you want to share anything with that, or could you obviously just make sure that the website's updated with the new monthly data? I guess the key to this is it's not all spendable. So this reflects a lot of the tax collections that have been going on. But nonetheless, summarizes where the city's money is, the rates of return we're seeing on those investments and our financial position. So appreciate Barb for the work there. Any questions, comments on that? Great. Item number 12 then is to consider a motion to approve revisions to the City of Oak Creek hiring policy as recommended by the Personnel Committee. Andrew?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Becky pointed out in her memo the crux of the changes in the hiring policy before you, namely the important addition of the HR manager function here at the City of Oak Creek. Probably about 18 months, looking at the staff for some concurrence, about 18 months ago, as well as the elimination of the Civil Service Commission. So those are really the crux, along with some updating, some outdated language and other non-substantive changes in the policy. But I also asked Becky, and as discussed at the Personnel Committee meeting on the 21st of March, to include a portion, or excuse me, some language at the beginning of that under number 2 in the policy that allows the city administrator position to also look at, with the department manager, to vet other options, including filling the position as it becomes vacant, but looking at retooling, looking at regrouping, maybe shifting duties, being innovative with the approach, as opposed to just sliding in vacant positions onto the Personnel Committee for filling. So I thought that was just an important, maybe a considerable departure from where we were before. So I thought I'd point that out. Other than that, I'm certainly comfortable, as was the Personnel Committee, with the new hiring policy.
Mike, do you want to add anything?
No, that covers it.
Great. Yeah, I think it's important, especially as we've been going through some of our planning and strategic planning processes, that we've charged Andrew with, looking at the whole organization and its structure, making sure we're doing the right things, having the right staffing. So that's an important little tweak to the overall kind of way we do business. That's important.
It's not a big departure from the way we have been doing business. Jerry, our previous city administrator, gave us advice at the Personnel Committee level. That was looked at before, so it's pretty much business as usual. Just kind of like you said,
Codified.
cleaning up the language.
Any other questions, comments? Steve, you good down there?
Good, thank you.
Fantastic. Motion on item number 12.
I'm going to make a motion to approve revisions to the City of Oak Creek hiring policy as recommended by the Personnel Committee.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Item number 13 is to consider a motion to approve the 2017 vendor summary report in the amount of $255,683.96. Bridget is front and center. If you have any questions, comments, concerns,
I have one question.
Steve?
Bridget, could you explain to me perhaps what the honor guard, that instruction fee is?
Alderman Kirkowski, which page are you on?
Well, let's see, I'm on the front page, about halfway down. There's a fee of $1,766. And then the second page, about a third of the way down, there's one for $1,741. And I believe I saw, and then further down the second page for $1,995.
My guess is that this is relating to Police Department Honor Guard. That is coming out of a donation fund. So I believe that police donations is what is funding the Honor Guard program, because that's not normally an expenditure that is utilized from tax dollars.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Any other questions, comments? Great. Motion on 13.
Kirkowski will make a motion to approve the 2017 vendor summary report in the amount of $255,683.96.
Verhaelen seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Under Health, item 14, consider a motion to approve the interim health officer Jacqueline Ove to apply for the Cultivating Healthy Communities grant program through the Aetna Foundation. Jackie's here. Turn it over to her. There, Brian.
Hello. I came across this grant that
I can pull that mic a little closer to you. Or pull it down, maybe. There you go.
there was an opportunity to apply for this grant through the Aetna Foundation for cultivating healthy communities. And the health department met with the library and how we could partner with offering some programs that would encompass a lot of the grant requirements. One of the requirements is to focus on how to reach a lower income population. And we have some opportunities to do that through the library. And we'd like to apply for the grant for 24 months. And then we've talked to some other communities to help look at options for replicating the programs in those communities also. But we need approval to apply for the grant, and the grant application is due April 14th.
Oh. Any questions, comments for Jackie? Anything? Great. We have a motion then on item 14.
Kirkowski make a motion to approve the interim health officer Jacqueline Ove to apply for the Cultivating Healthy Communities grant program through the Aetna Foundation.
Guzekowski will second.
Sorry, Mike?
Before we vote on the question, if you get the grant, how does that play out then? Who actually does the teaching and the education part of it? And does that require extra people? How does that work?
We're looking at using the funding to bring in speakers. And there is a book that was written by a public health student on cooking on $4 a day that we would purchase using the grant funds. And they estimate that someone who's on food share has $4 a day to have their meals. So this book actually highlights how you can make meals on $4 a day. So we would do that presentation. We were looking at encouraging fruits and vegetables in meals. There's an opportunity, if we get the funds, to have a speaker about gardening or urban farming. And I know Will Allen has been a choice for the library that they wanted to come and have speak, but they didn't have the funds available to pay for that speaker. So this would give an opportunity to have that also. So.
Makes sense, thanks.
I
Sorry.
think we had a second.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
My fault.
No problem, Mike.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Jackie. Streets, Parks, Forestry, item number 15, consider a motion to reject the bids for the 27th Street tree planting project and direct a re-advertisement of the work, project 17020. Ted Johnson from Streets is in attendance, and Ted, will turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. This is part of the 27th Street project. It was actually part of the our end of that project. We were supposed to plant all of the vegetation in the boulevards and trees, and actually this is the project that we've got a agreement with City of Franklin. Franklin is bidding out all of the actual trees for the project, and we are bidding out the work to be done. We put this out, we only received 2 bids. We were comfortable opening them at the time. When we did open the bids, neither bidder acknowledged the addenda. The addenda was some traffic control that was given to us from Wisconsin DOT. We did not have that information at the time of the bid, so we had to put an addenda out. It really probably substantially changes the way that the contractor may be doing traffic control on the project. And because neither one of the contractors acknowledged the addenda, we feel that we would be best off to re-advertise the bid, and with hopes that possibly we get more bidders on this.
Questions, comments, discussion on item number 15? Mark?
For how long of a distance? I mean, from what area is for 27th Street?
Well, it ends at College.
I understand that. It's the end of the city, but how far back does it come to the south?
I beg your pardon?
How far to the south? Just down the
It's just south of the Drexel
Yeah,
intersection.
just maybe, what is it, about 1,000 feet south of Drexel?
1,000 feet south of Drexel?
I'm not even sure it's that much, Ted.
Yeah, it may be short of 1,000 feet, but it's just beyond the Drexel.
All right. I guess the reason I asked the question is wanted to make sure that there's no other incidentals or anything where we're going to be planting trees and 2 months later somebody's going to be coming in there and possibly destroying some of the work we've done there.
Well, unfortunately, I can't stop the cars from running the trees over. They will be on the backside of the sidewalk whenever possible. There's a few areas that they'll be in the directly adjacent to the road, and some in the center median. But these are all part of the 27th Street plan.
I remember when we drew that up.
Right, and it was given to us as a credit for our part of the 27th Street agreement. So,
Anybody else? Ted, I did have one question. Or Melissa then as well. Obviously, we have a provision in the contract that allows us to void it and reopen, re-advertise.
Yes, staff discussed this, and bottom line is the statute says we can award to the lowest responsible bidder. And here, where, as Director of Streets, Parks and Forestry pointed out, I mean, there's no acknowledgement of the addendum, which is of some concern. I think it's fair to say that there is a disparity between those two subparts of the bids as well, maybe a 38% difference or so.
correct, yes.
So that's a significant piece. It's not the biggest of all contracts, but we want to get it done right. And to staff's credit, I mean, there's time to rebid, so.
Been in contact with the 2 companies that bid at Ted, or the winner?
I have not.
Okay.
We will notify both companies after the meeting what the outcome is.
So they were actually just doing what they weren't buying material on our award already, right?
No. And actually, the tree bid, this is just for the labor to plant them. The tree bid is actually with the city of Franklin.
Good. All right. Motion on item number 15. Or sorry, I should ask anybody else have anything else. Okay, then, motion on 15.
Kirkowski make a motion to reject the bids for the 27th Street tree planting project and direct a re-advertisement of the work, project number 17020.
Guzekowski.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tolman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Great. Item number 16, consider a motion to approve the purchase of an Avery Traffic Jet street sign printer package from Avery Dennison Reflective Solutions for a total cost of $46,561. Ted?
Yeah, this is actually, this went to the, excuse me,
AP?
thank you. It went to CIP and was approved. We're slightly over budget. We actually budgeted $43,000. It came in $3,000 over. This is for a package of 3 pieces of equipment, which would be the printer, a laminator, and a new router. Or plotter, excuse me. And we are actually getting these from a print show that they just had in Arizona. So we're getting top of the line equipment. Actually, we will be the first in the state of Wisconsin to have a digital print system for the signs. We recently, we're pretty excited about it. We recently did a survey of all of the signs in town and are starting to replace all of the worst signs. This will actually help us out tremendously in catching up with that project.
Any feel for how many signs you actually put on a machine like this?
You know what? How many could you put out with this one?
How many typically do we do?
Oh boy, hundreds. This would actually for that it's what I should have done, and I can do this for a future meeting, is put together like a short video on how these are put together and how this machine does it. It's pretty labor intensive the way that we do them now, because each different layer is another operation where you basically are cutting out pieces. So any different color is a separate layer on there, and you have to peel out the pieces and adhere them on there and then put a coating over them. So to do a sign that has multiple colors in it, it's pretty labor intensive. You know, the way that we do it now, our sign shop, let's say they have 25 signs or something like that need to be replaced, or we have it. So he might work a day or maybe 2 days putting together all of his signs, and then we would go out and do it. With this piece of equipment, basically you could just drop it on the computer program, hit print before you left at night, come back in the morning and they're all done. Just adhere them to the metal blanks and take them out and put them up. So it'll reduce the labor that we need to make signs significantly, and the signs are all guaranteed for reflectivity and everything else for a 12-year period. Ordinarily, I wouldn't bring a sole source. However, in the price range for these printers, the only other ones that can actually print DOT standard colors other than this unit are exceeding over $100,000 a piece. So this is kind of the only game in town for digital printing for traffic signs right now.
Not only a new piece, but a highly efficient piece of equipment.
Absolutely. I have a feeling that other municipalities are going to be asking to come to Oak Creek to see this piece of equipment. Actually, we'll have it before the printing company up in Milwaukee has it, TAPCO. They're actually looking to buy one right now.
Great. Any other questions or comments for Ted?
Just a comment. Is there a chance that you could notify the school district that we have this machine with the city, so perhaps you could contract some work for them as well.
It's a possibility, yeah, sure. Actually, the thing that is really nice about these is it can print a very detailed a sign with multiple colors in it. Currently, right now, there's just no way we could do it. So, I mean, anything that had like the city logo or you know, any type of intricate kind of detail to very difficult or impossible to do. This, as long as you can get it on the computer screen, you can print it.
Digital printing is pretty impressive.
Any other questions, comments for Ted? Great. Item number 16, we need a motion on item 16.
Guzekowski, I make a motion to accept the purchase of the Avery Traffic Jet street sign printer package from Avery Dennison Reflective Solutions for the total cost of $46,561.
Helen seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Verhaelen.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Item 17 under community development, we're going to consider ordinance 2849, amending the comprehensive plan and planned use map for the property at 140 East Rawson Avenue to reflect the change in land use from planned business to planned industrial. You, Doug?
Yes, thank you. The city, in particular staff, is requesting that the plan land use category in the map in the comprehensive plan for the property at 140 East Rawson Avenue be updated from its current planned business designation to planned industrial. And this really is reflective of the recently approved kind of hybrid research and development flex warehouse space that was approved under the existing zoning for that property. It was just I don't know if it was an error or if it was just when the land was rezoned back in 2007, the land use category never changed. This is just a cleanup of that, and it properly reflects the manufacturing use of that parcel.
Great, thank you, Doug. Who's anything on planning or anything from this? Well, this item's been in front of planning a couple times already.
Yes, it has.
Any comments, questions for Doug, council? Arden, I know you had indicated you want to make a comment on this item. Name and address for the record, please.
Arden Degner, 8540 South Pennsylvania Avenue. Again, let me reiterate, as you come into Oak Creek on Rawson Avenue, it is beautiful the way the sidewalks and the trees are laid out in Franklin. But as soon as we enter Oak Creek, they're missing. There's nothing there. It's hopscotch. Couldn't we at least require sidewalks on Rawson Avenue and eventually turn that, as far as I'm concerned, those older buildings on north and south side that into something that is acceptable and as good as Franklin, because that Rawson Avenue is the main thoroughfare to South Milwaukee, always has been. And to me, it's not something that we can just shove under the rug. I'm surprised that this planning development has not considered much of there. Sure, we got dog. I believe there's a dog walk there. There's and I'm not sure what the situation is with the building on. Used to be a medical on the corner of 27th there and Rawson on the south side, but it requires some sprucing up that area into Oak Creek. And I could see College Avenue when that came in front that we didn't feel like we should because we had only the south side. But here we have both sides of the street. And the only way that we can get this done without tax money is when these people want to do when they ask for a change in ownership, or a change in use, or a change or building, then we can start beautifying it, putting sidewalks in, and for instance, this as you recall, this CMBRF that was extended on the north side of Rawson and 20th there, the neighbors came in and said, yes, with this 20th Street is so narrow in Oak Creek compared to the finger that extends down to south into Oak Creek from, I believe it's College Avenue, yes. That finger. Why, there's even a median there to separate, and as you continue down, there's no, and there's sidewalks too on each side. And as you continue down Oak Creek, there's no consideration for any traffic flow or anything else. And this couple asked that at least sidewalks be built so that their children would be safe from traffic turning in and out of that 20th Street. So there's a lot more work that has to be done on Rawson Ave to make it presentable.
Thank you for your comments, Arden. Any comments, questions from the council? Steve?
I guess I'd like to take this opportunity to wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Degner with regards to how Rawson Avenue looks. You start at 27th and you head east, you've got curbs and you got a median, and I think the paving project, 6-7 years ago was pretty poor because some of it was coming up and it was waffling with the heat and stuff. But I got to agree, as you cross Howell, you have medians but no curbs, and but I think the bottom line is anything with curbs and sidewalks and stuff like that, it's going to have to be done in conjunction with the county, since it's a county highway. So I mean, we can ask and we can do this and that, but I think the county's going to probably dictate how aesthetically pleasing Rawson turns into.
Anybody else? Susie? All right, we'll need action. We'll need a motion then on item 17.
Kirkowski make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2849, amending the comprehensive plan and planned land use map for the property at 140 East Rawson Avenue to reflect the change in land use from planned business to planned industrial.
Verhaelen, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Item 18, consider resolution 11805-040317, approving the First Amendment to the land purchase agreement with the Water Senior Living Holdings LLC. Andrew or Doug, or who's got that?
Sure, I can take that. In June of last year, the council adopted a resolution which approved the purchase agreement with the Water Senior Living Group for the property at 8000 South Market Street, just east of the Civic Center. And under the terms of that agreement, the purchaser had 120 days from the date of Plan Commission approval, which was November 8th, 2016, to design the project and prepare and submit the construction documents to the city. The purchaser is requesting an amendment to the land purchase agreement that would replace that 120-day period with a date certain, that being May 1, 2017. Essentially, it's a relatively minor amendment. Really does not impact the sale or development of this parcel. It remains on schedule for a closing and construction start this year, actually this spring.
Thanks, Doug. Any questions, comments for Doug? Okay, can we get a motion on that on item number 18?
Kirkowski make a motion to approve resolution number 11805-040317, approving the First Amendment to the land purchase agreement with the Waters Senior Living Holdings LLC in the Second District.
Verhaelen, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski. Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Licensing. Alderman Kirkowski.
Excuse me for just a minute, please. Thank you. Okay, License Committee did not meet prior to tonight's Common Council meeting. Tentative recommendations are as follows. Kirkowski, item 19, Kirkowski will make a motion to grant an operator's license to the 11 individuals listed on the agenda. Favorable background reports received.
Verhaelen seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye. That wraps it up. Tomorrow is Election Day. Obviously, remember to vote if you haven't done your absentee or voted in person here at City Hall. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Seconded.
All roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Verhaelen.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Good evening.